right, before you people peel off, because you don't obviously want to watch an old lady and an octopus, under no circumstance do you have my authority to pay for one-on-one coaching. Anyway, on a slightly different topic. Hello, Granny. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Octo. Yourself?
Oh, I'm very disgruntled, but other than that, I'm not too bad. Episode 17 to be a Granny, and they didn't say we'd get past episode 16. Look at us go.
Look at us go. I think people thought we wouldn't get past episode 2.
No, well, that's exactly right. We're just looking at the view count then, and we've had a couple of videos that have done over 50 views, which we're quite impressed by.
Yes. That's always nice. Get over that 50 mark. We feel a little bit famous then, don't we?
Well, that's exactly right. I'll have to. Oh no! Wait a sec, Granny.
What?
You'll have to entertain the crowd because
Bob's on it again, isn't he? Bob's out again.
No, it's not Bob. It's that horrible minion that don't have dogs. That's it. Like all these YouTubers roll around with cute dogs, and I'll get the one that's stuck at the door and keeps tapping on the door. So, Granny, do a reversion of your rap video, and I'll be back in 3.5 seconds.
All right. Well, here I am, boys and girls, and as you can see, it's nearly Halloween. So Grumpy Granny has started doing a little bit of Halloween makeup. So watch as the weeks roll on towards Halloween and see how Grumpy Granny's makeup progresses. See how spooky I can get with my makeup. I might turn into a little bit of a vampire. Who knows?
Oh, God. You're talking about your makeup again. I thought it was a case of that you must have had a bit of an old lady stumble in the makeup department.
Bit of an accident with the mascara.
I was going to say, I thought you tried to put your lippy on and all of a sudden you're like, oh.
Oh, no. Well, I'm going for a little bit of the, what's that, the doll on, the Goosebumps doll called? Slappy, a bit of a slappy look.
Yeah, well, that's right. Well, that's right. Well, I won't call you a slapper, but hey, each to their own. For those that aren't in Australia, probably wouldn't suggest looking up a slapper because it's a bit of colloquial language. Not too bad, but probably if everyone thinks I'm a misogynist as it is, probably reaffirm that's their heads.
True.
Yeah. So yes, don't recommend looking it up. Speaking of Halloween, Granny, I meant to ask you earlier, but would you be interested in doing a Halloween live?
Oh, I think that'd be fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I know. I just threw that on you then. I meant to ask you yesterday, but I just forgot all about it. And I thought, well, hey, you're talking about your makeup now. I might as well. But I'm thinking around about 8 o'clock on Halloween, so the 31st of October.
Yes.
Maybe something called Reseller Oween or something along the lines of that. And we might actually use that as our live Q&A that we've actually promised people 75 subs ago. Yeah, so we'll put some material out closer to Halloween. But what I'm thinking as well, Granny, is we might actually see if we can get a couple of other people to pop on and be in costume or something. Might as well make a night of it and have a bit of fun.
Well, there's not much. Yeah, I'd be in that. I'd be in getting dressed up for Halloween. That sounds. I sort of thought I'd start getting in the spirit of Halloween. So yeah. Good.
Yeah, well, that's right. Well, look, as a fine and upstanding octopus, I don't really dress up for Halloween, but each to their own. But like I said, we might do some more digging around, and by all means, if you're interested in popping on for a minute or two, reach out to the octopus, and we'll send you the link. But we'll double that as our live Q&A. So I think Halloween's on a Tuesday, so hopefully that works for everyone.
Okay. Yeah, that should work for everyone because the little boys and girls would have already been out and done their little bit of,
trick or treating,
door knocking to get their trick or treats, and they'd be back home by then. So I reckon that'd be good.
That's right. Well, I might even see if I can tee up a hostage. I'm not too sure if I will, if I'll have enough time to do it, because obviously it's quite hard being an octopus trying to take over the world and take hostages at the same time. But no, I think that'll be pretty good actually. We should roll with that.
Yeah, you'll have to see what you can come up with accessories or something to make yourself look a little bit more Halloweenish, perhaps.
Well, that's right. Yeah, it's quite a striking octopus. I could probably go for something. Something a little dapper or more distinguished. I might even become. I don't know yet. We'll have a look.
I'm sort of picturing a monocle, really.
A monocle? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I might invest in. I might go to Specsavers and request a monocle. They'll be quite surprised. They'll be quite surprised when an 8-foot handsome octopus slithers in and asks for a monocle, no doubt.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they'd think. You could ask for an eye test while you're in there.
Well, that's right. Well, I do need one because after I just finish filming a little segment for Diary of a Flipper, and just reaffirm that these eyes are painted on. Yeah, there's a little bit of text to read, and unfortunately, I couldn't read it very well. No fault of my own, of course. Very, very, very subpar thumbnails across the board, unfortunately. But keep an eye on Diary of a Flipper's YouTube channel. You might see me doing a bit of judging in the coming weeks. I'm not too sure when it's coming out, but soon enough, I believe.
Well, I hope it's soon because it's been a little while, and I'm getting a bit excited about winning.
Well, that's right. Well, plus you're getting on in years as well.
That's enough of that.
I was going to say, you might be waiting for nature to take care of the elimination itself. But,
not going to happen. Not happening.
No, not at all. It's hard enough finding you to do the podcast, let alone anyone else to replace you.
Yeah, well, that's what you've got to think of, you see. If I go, what would you do for a replacement?
A Ouija board.
And as I said, no one else laughs at your jokes like I do.
Well, that's right. Well, it's not. Like I said, it's the curse of the insane, isn't it?
It is. Yes.
Yeah. So, what's been new with you, Granny? What's been happening?
Well, I have to say, eBay's been a bit slow up until the last couple of days. It's been pretty good, but the usual thing. It seems to be, to me, just the dips and the highs are a bit more accentuated than they've been in the past. And that could be a lot to do with a lot of stuff with, events, world events and, financial strains and Christmas coming up. And, there could be lots of reasons for it. But, I think that, the highs and lows are a little bit more accentuated than usual. So, But I've had quite a few international sales yesterday and today. So, I'm happy about that.
Well, it's good. Yeah. So we're just coming off the back of a couple of Amazon Prime days, so maybe that was a contributing factor as well. But definitely noticed that from year on year, it's never been this point of a roller coaster, I dare say. So quite surprised, and it's quite fitting into what we're going to be talking about today. So but what else? We just come off the back of a live ourselves. We had a bit of an accountability live, and had
we did
a few people in the chat, the live stream. I think we got to about 6 at one stage, which was good.
I think there might have been a few more than that. And surprisingly, I got to write down a few people's accountability goals this week too.
Well, mate, it's only taken them 19 episodes to come around.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I'm actually surprised. Though we did have a fair few people in there. Like we normally float around the 22 to 24 mark, and I think this time we had about 34 in at one stage, which is good. Yeah, which is good.
And the time must be good. Yeah, the time must be working out good because we had some people from the US and we had people from the UK and, of course, our Aussies, our local Aussies. So it's good. So the time-wise, it must work out well for that because, we're getting a few from all over the place, which is really good, lots of fun. But we still can't get people to actually come in and be on the screen with us, can we?
No, well, that's right. Well, like I said before, they're more than welcome to. We're not going to berate them. Publicly, we'll put them in the green room and scream at them. But it's definitely. But it's good that people are coming in on a weekly basis. It's always good to see new faces and all those different things. And I think it's a bit of an urban legend that they don't believe that an old lady's on YouTube. I think that's the only explanation. They probably want they want some proof of life of an old lady. So they come in for a bit of a gander, I think. But it's been.
Yeah, I think well. I mean, I know when people ask me what I do, and I say, well, I do a podcast, and I put hair rollers in my hair and dress up as Grumpy Granny, and my partner in the podcast is an octopus, and people just look at me and they go, what? And I'm going to have a little bit of fun getting some reactions of some of my former classmates because I'm having a high school reunion on the weekend. So I thought I might take my camera along and explain to people what I do and see what the reaction is.
Yeah, okay. Well, I didn't know if anyone would be still alive from your school years, but good on the class of 1808. But when you were talking about your friends saying they didn't understand what you're saying, I just thought they must be because they're advanced in years and just sitting in a wheelchair dribbling. But hey, whatever works. We'll take whatever we can get.
Well, we're getting on, but we still like to party like it's 1994.
Well, that's right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
Well, actually,
so
more
what,
like 1974. But
I was going to say, what reunion is this coming around?
So this will actually be what will this be? Our 4th reunion. So yeah, we don't have them on a regular basis. We just because they're all over the countryside, in all the different states of Australia. So it just happens when something happens. But we did decide the last one we would definitely do it because most of my classmates are turning 60 this year, even though I'm 99. It's a bit of a late starter. So yeah, we said we would definitely have one for the year that we all turn 60. So yeah.
No, that's good. Yeah, it's good. That, like I have seen your handwriting, so I can believe why you started it. Well, why you did graduate when you were 33 or 39.
Yes,
sorry.
because the nuns. I've got very nice handwriting because the nuns used to belt us until we made nice handwriting.
Yeah. Nothing brings a tear to my eye than very violent nuns.
Look, tell you. Yes. We had one nun called Sister Ursula. And for some unknown reason, her nickname was Percy, and I'm still yet to find out why that was so. But anyway, so we used to call her Percy or Percival. And look, you'd only hear her voice, and even today, after all these years, if I hear her name mentioned, it literally sends a shiver up my spine.
She might be a giant octopus in The Little Mermaid by the sounds of
it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know, Granny. We probably should move into this week's topic.
Yes. So, well, I thought you might ask me what's grinding my gears first.
Oh, that's right. Well, I better pretend I care. What is grinding your gears this week, Granny?
Well, what's grinding my gears, Octo, is people who take it upon themselves to think they're an all-out expert at selling on eBay and think that they can offer personal one-on-one advice to other resellers at a cost.
Oh, okay. And
there you go.
Anyone in
How's
particular that does this?
Well, I do believe there is a certain, YouTube reseller that has recently put out, a marketing tool, I guess you'd call it, offering people that they can contact him and for a fee of $99 get, have their store evaluated and be given all, golden advice on how to do well on eBay. Like, it just doesn't sit well.
Yeah, and I suppose that's the topic of the week.
Well, I thought it might be a good way to lead into it.
Nice little segue into something that sounds completely scripted on an unscripted podcast. So like Granny's discussed, we're basically focused in this episode at paid mentoring, and I suppose niching it down would be towards that one-on-one coaching session. Really, and what I said at the start of the episode, under no circumstances, please do not pay for one-on-one coaching. I've spoken to a couple of YouTubers in my circle. We're quite staunch in the fact that we don't think that anyone in Australia, let alone probably in the greater community, so obviously in the international market, has the adequate knowledge or adequate skill set to provide one-on-one coaching. There's obviously exceptions to that rule, and we're not talking about the Daily Refinement or Tech and Sports Group. So please don't come after with pitchforks and torches.
Well, the thing is, Octo, the thing is, there are different ways of getting mentorship or getting coaching, right? So, and there's different levels of it. So you've got, you've got some Facebook groups, you've got, and even for the paid, but when you're going to start talking where there's money coming into it, there are some paid groups that you can join up. You can join people's Patreon, you can join their Discord groups, those sorts of things for a smaller fee. I guess it becomes a bit different though when you're offering to do a, you pay me $100 and I'll come in and tell you what to do type coaching, isn't it?
Yeah. And before we delve deeper into the topic, I just want to make it abundantly clear this is not a case of tall poppy syndrome where we're taking down a successful eBay reseller or eBay reselleress, if that's the proper term for a female. It's just to be blatantly obvious, it's very predatory. from my perspective, that's not to say I don't know what Granny says, but to offer one-on-one coaching for an exorbitant amount of money, to me is very, very predatory, right? So, like I said this morning on the live, I don't have a concern with Patreon. I don't have a concern with, YouTube, what are they called, groups or something? You join they join the memberships or something along lines of that. Don't have problems with buy me a coffee. I don't have problems with all those different things. Where I do have a problem with is when people start, providing one-on-one mentorship, and especially when, when I suppose that their main business model, their main revenue source is not necessarily reselling.
Exactly.
So if someone is trying to offer you coaching, if that's within Australia, within the UK, within the US, have a look at their revenue model, have a look at all those different things, because it really comes to paint a picture. Because if they're, and a lot of people say it all the time, if you're doing YouTube, you're wasting, basically you're sacrificing something, right? Because there's a lot of things that go into YouTube. Granny and I do 2 shows a week, and we wipe out a full day doing YouTube, right? So this is, we could be potentially doing eBay stuff and obviously earning money. But like I said, that if these people have a very high subscriber count and they're charging an exorbitant amount of money to provide a one-on-one coaching session, that's more time than taking out of their perceived eBay business, I suppose, for lack of a better term. And quite honestly, it just baffles me that, a lot of the information that you can, probably be provided is probably accessible online or on YouTube for free. There's a lot of fantastic content creators out there that give, spill their guts, for a little bit of lack of a better term, for free. They basically, they're quite transparent with their figures. They're quite transparent with how much they list and, what the brands are looking, all these different things. And like we said last week, is that a lot of YouTubers don't delve into, or don't, freely hand over what they're doing. For example, the wholesaling lot. There was a couple of people that commented on a video regarding wholesaling, where an Australian YouTuber, discussed wholesaling options and all these different things. And they're happy to disclose those contacts because they've probably moved on to a different wholesaler that you don't know about.
Yes.
So you'd need to be very careful where these people are coming from, and that's not to say that what they're doing is wrong. But obviously giving stepping stones. If they've got the capacity for 1,000 units a week, and the wholesaler can only provide 200, obviously they're going to be looking somewhere else. So that's and then
and it
can be construed.
Sorry, I was going to say, I think that's the case in this instance, is that this person has moved on to bigger and better. I'm not going to say better, but a bigger wholesaler that can provide them with a lot more of what they want, as opposed to some of the smaller ones.
And obviously giving up these contacts is giving people a stepping stone. So I don't really see it as a negative thing as saying, hey, look, this YouTuber is being sneaky by giving up everyone's source and doing all these different things, because it's not hard to Google, right? Like type in vintage jeans, vintage shirts, whatever you need to do into Google, and no doubt, they're going to spit out a wholesaler. And it's up for you to obviously do your due diligence, because, like we said last week, it's a responsibility as you, as the seller or the business owner, to do your own research, to do all these different things. Just because a YouTuber or a reseller like us, basically said to you, hey, this is the way you need to do it, step by step by step. It mightn't be, in flow with your business. Granny and I have 2 different business models, and that's not to say we're doing it right. We're not saying that we're doing it wrong, but we're not charging an exorbitant amount of money, to give our free advice, because, like I said to Granny, is that I have no problem with people selling merchandise, like plushes or hats or shirts or all those different things, because you're getting a tangible product at the end of it. If you want to support the person you're watching, buy a plush or buy a shirt or buy a hat from them. It's no skin off my tentacles. Or flip side is, if you want to join their Patreon group and pay $50, $60 a month for the Patreon group, that's 4 weeks of content that you're paying $15 Australian for, right? Opposed to an hour session at $99.
And the same with the live streams. You can go into, if your person does a live stream, and you can buy them a coffee, or buy a sticker or something like that, which slings them a few dollars. and you can do that too. Like that's fine. You're supporting them, but you're not, as you say, paying a high amount of money, which, $99. I guess too, what worries me is that some of the people that may be struggling and really can't afford that $99, that they might be the ones that are likely to go to someone that they see as an expert, but who's possibly not, that person may not be an expert in what the person coming to them is doing with, because look, even location wise, if you've got a reseller that's in Queensland and you've got myself, which is in Victoria, they cannot relate to the type of goods that I can get provided in the central part of Victoria versus what they can get on the Gold Coast. Completely different.
Yeah, and it's just like you're saying is that the people that, and what I said in the live is a lot of people think that reselling, especially the way it's portrayed in YouTube, right? Like everything's always sunny days and golden everything. It's a falsity, right? So a lot of it's entertainment purposes, and this is what I said to you before, and especially reiterate every week is that we provide a service as an entertainment platform, right? So we might have some things sprinkled in here that give you some tips and tricks and all these different things that we've learned along the way. Like Brenny said, it mightn't be relevant to you, but that take it with you will, and more work and say, hey, look, I heard Granny said this, I'm going to research more into it and see what will work for me, or I'll implement it, or I'll test all these different things. But when it comes down to is that when YouTubers or when resellers are providing it, and this is not exclusive to Australia, right? So I have seen it previously in America where people are selling drop shipping courses or like ebook courses and all these different things. So I have a problem with those because you are paying exorbitant amounts of money. Where they advertise this product's worth $1,700, but if you sign up today, it's $250 or something along the lines of this. So it's like a course or something along the lines of that. And then you'll have some other YouTuber endorse that product and say, hey, look, I did Grumpy's Granny's course on needlework. It was fantastic. I'll give it 20 out of 10. And then they get a kickback from that course and all the people they refer as well. But like we were saying, like I find it highly predatory, even if it's not, if that's not the purpose behind it, right? Like it's a case that people are especially in this economy, they're probably looking for a side hustle, or they're looking for another way to get some quick funds, because obviously they may have depleted their savings, or that the rise the cost of living and all these different things. They're trying to make all these different money, and they see that these coaching sessions is probably like a shortcut to riches. Even courses that hey, if I do a 45-minute course, through clicking through a couple of sheets of paper, I'll be on $100,000 in the next 2 weeks or something along this. It's just not feasible, and it's not.
Doesn't work
it's
that
probably
way.
palatable. No, and that's right. And this is and this is a bit of out of character, more of a serious topic for us. But and like I said to you before, and like when we first started the video, so those people that obviously drop out in 30 seconds, you need to be very mindful of what your product you're getting. And that's not to say, and like I said, that I'm not saying that every person that delivers one-on-one coaching or courses are a scam artist, or doing it for the wrong reasons, or a narcissist, or all these different things mixed into the pot. You need to do your research. You need to work out where their primary source of money coming from. Is it coming from views, or is it coming from YouTube revenue? Is it coming from eBay itself? If they are making $500 million a year on eBay, and they're quite happy to sell you an hour of their time for $100 rounded up, for example's sake, why? Well, why would they be doing that? Like, I just can't fathom why I would be selling my time if I was making that much money on eBay, where, I could possibly be making more than $100 an hour on eBay than having to tell you what's going on.
Just that point alone says a lot of it, doesn't it? It says it all to me. Look, a lot of the people that are successful on YouTube as far as reselling goes, and we see it, and we talked a little bit about it last week, is that the stuff that they're sourcing, they're sourcing it because it's good YouTube content. It's not necessarily profitable in the way that we are looking at our products wanting to be profitable. It's profitable for them as far as their YouTube content goes. And yes, they might make, and at the same time, they make a couple of bucks off it on eBay. And it's a whole, that sort of a model is a whole different ball game, and they're sourcing things that are readily available, that they can get lots of, which is fine, but it's not something that is easily, you can't replicate that and make a lot of profit, or make, the amount of profit that you need to make to grow your business and to do well on eBay.
That's exactly right. Like, you really, you kind of think to yourself, well, what's this YouTuber selling, right? So hypothetically, or this person that's selling a course, and they might not necessarily be on YouTube, right? So they might be, you might be Googling or going through YouTube and typing how to make money on eBay, and all of a sudden an external link comes up and sends you to some really dodgy looking website. So it's not necessarily a spokesperson standing in front of a camera or a description box with saying, hey, look, sign up here to have a one-on-one mentoring session. You need to be very mindful if you're going through websites as well, because you don't know what these people are doing. Because like I said, they're targeting vulnerable people. This is what, quite honestly makes me the pissed off octopus. Because like I said, that, if the economy was in a better state and everyone was doing really well, and, and it came to the point where people had money to burn, so be it. Like, I wouldn't care less. But to the point where the fact is that, you see it in Facebook groups, you see it in all those different platforms, you see it in the news articles that people are losing their jobs and looking for different things. It's going to be inevitable, right? That people, especially around Q4, like a lot of people look, because a lot of the news articles come out and say, hey, look, Lego's worth, a gram of Lego's worth more than a gram of gold, or all these
Tupperware's going for this price,
or Cornerstone, or all these different, all these different things come through. Or that you might have a Barbie doll in your attic that's worth, $15,000, and all those different things. So normally people gravitate to reselling on eBay and all these different things. And of course, they don't want to do the hard work, which is what we've discussed in previous episodes. And also as evident by our accountability hour, because no one turns up to it. We had a whole 6 people this morning.
Well, yes, and the couple of the ones that were there actually said that we were distracting them from doing their work. We were so entertaining. It's a bit of a worry, isn't it?
That's right. Well, that's our plan, is to take over and start charging people. No, but like I was saying, is that you need to be very careful, and you need to do your due diligence. This is what we're coming back last week. And this kind of piggybacks on the back of this, like last week's episode as well, is that there's no shortcut. Like, I know I gave him a bit of praise last week, and I'm going to probably do it again. But if you want a shortcut, you're in America. Probably the best bet would be to go to the Daily Refinement Group, right? It's just it's a neat little package. You've got you've got the subject matter experts in there that can help you in different niches and all that sort of stuff. So like I said before, I don't have a problem with that model.
And honestly, the Daily Refinement, all the calls that they do and the Facebook content, a lot of it is brand driven, right? So it's people saying this brand sells well, you should pick up this brand. So if you do want the shortcut and you are in the US, because the cost to you is so cheap for the court, like to join the group, you can get in there and find out some stuff, and you can do it as a shortcut to a certain extent.
And what I would suggest, that depending on your financial situation, obviously we're not going to talk about the financial specifications, all those different things, but if you do have the availability and you are hard pressed, I would reach out, maybe potentially join for a month, get as much information as you can, then go through that way. Don't, like I said, when you probably get into a better place, start probably clicking over more and more and more, all those different things. But even the Daily Refinement Group, and I'm pretty sure Tech would agree with this, is that they're not going to tell you like what to source, where to source it, how much. Like they will go into those details, but they're not going to hold your hand. And there is that expectation that you do your own work, right? So that's where I suppose that these people that provide these coaching, and this is none that we've seen recently, but they do crop up occasionally on Google Ads, all those different things, is that they say that they're going to give you these documents, or they're going to give you this insider knowledge where hey, if you slip Grumpy Granny $15, she'll give you her contacts and all these different things. So they promise more things that they can deliver, right? So it's almost like a snake oil salesman, where there's no real benefit other than just taking advantage of people that probably don't the most vulnerable people. It really annoys me, and I think it's a case that me personally, I see this channel is a social contract, right? So we basically provide a little bit of entertainment, a little bit of knowledge, and that's pretty much where we go from there. We don't say, hey, look, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to go, this is how do you need to run your business, all these different things. And we like, personally, we wouldn't endorse or we wouldn't promote anything that we haven't personally we do talk about that my post buddy, whatever it's called, that Chrome extension, because we personally use it, we personally do it, and we don't get any kickbacks from it. And and Paul's reached out a couple of times and said, hey, can we pay you in donuts? We're not interested, because we
as much as we love donuts.
That's right. So even
Ethan Rushop, where are our donuts?
Even though we make little jokes about Ethan Rushop and the lack of donuts, that we probably wouldn't take it up on the offer, because the simple fact is that, well, me personally, I don't use Ethan Rushop's accounting services. I don't know about Randy, but
I don't either.
We can't promote a service that we don't physically use, and all these different things. And these people that promoting these different services that potentially they don't use themselves. Like, I'm not saying they all don't use them, what they're promoting, but would they be? Well, look at it this way: would they be using that service if they weren't being provided it for free or being paid for it?
Yeah.
So you need to look at it from that perspective as well as that.
That's it. And I mean, look, Paul Lowry he's my post business buddy. Like, he's had that up for free, but we recommend that you buy him a coffee, because it's you can go in and you can hit the little button and buy him a coffee and sling him a few bucks, because it's a game changer when you're doing your post, and the majority of us in Australia do use Australia Post. So do that, and highly recommend it. But he's not doing that as a money grabbing thing.
Yeah.
Well,
that's right. Like,
if he was, he'd be charging, $20 for it.
Yeah. So, like, for transparency's sake, I've spoken to Paul on numerous times and told him to, like, maybe potentially charge $1.99 or $2.99 for a one-off purchase, or have a subscription model for it, because it definitely is worth it. And like I said, that we, even if that was the case, we probably wouldn't raise it again, because obviously it's being a cost model, but we wouldn't be sponsored either. But like I said, it's not a case of I don't have against sponsorship deals or all those different things. You really need to take into consideration, do your own research, and this is what it comes back to. That like I said, it's not as if it's a dig at YouTubers, because from what we gather, is YouTube pays very dismally. And a lot of the money that comes out is from sponsorship deals and all, affiliate links and all those different things.
Yeah,
we don't necessarily, and like I've seen YouTubers in the States, talk about cross-listing platforms, but and a few of the ones will actually say, hey, I don't use this, or I use this personally, and this is what I find, or this is how it is. It's just, don't blindly follow them. Because
exactly.
It might be the best product for you. I'm not disputing that. It might have something that you can basically use it and go from that perspective, and and help your business. But
do it, but use it because you've researched it and you've checked out that it is the best product for you, based on what you've, like, with the research you've done, not because you're blindly following a YouTuber that says use this product.
Yeah, that's right. Like, and affiliate links are the same. Like, realistically, I have nothing, I have no concerns regarding affiliate links and all those different things in the description box, saying, hey, look, if you use this is what I'll get, a couple of dollars or whatever it is, back from the affiliate link. Like, because no one's forcing you, or no one's basically, there's not like a gun hold to your head, or your financial situation's not going to be improved by clicking on that, that affiliate link per se. So,
and that's as simple as me saying, well, I use, in the description under a video, I might put, well, I use this particular product. If you want to use it too, I'm not telling you to, but if you want to use it, click here and take it there, and, I'll get a few cents out of it. Like, that's a whole different ball game to,
like,
selling your knowledge.
And that's what it really comes down
and
to.
And your expertise.
And
where are your exclamation marks? Okay.
I don't have them today. They're paralyzed. I put some more Botox in them, and they got a mind of their own today. Like,
oh dear.
But here they are. There we go.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
They're back again. There we go.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, is that I think it's really a case of doing your own research as well. Like, if it redirects you to a suspicious website, and it might look legitimate, be very careful. Do some research before you start forking over your hard-earned dollars and all those different things. If it comes down to, doing an online course or signing up for a cross-listing platform or doing all these different things, or putting food on your table, it should be self-explanatory. Like, you really need to get out of the mentality is that, it's almost like a Pied Piper effect, I think, because, like, I find a lot of people become very entrenched with the people that they watch. They almost become like a god complex, where they basically watch this YouTuber and start, trying to emulate them.
Sourcing the way they source and selling the way that they perceive that they're selling on, by what they're showing in their videos. And I've personally had a couple of experiences helping out friends that were actually doing that and following a particular YouTuber's model, and discovering after, quite some time, and I'm talking like 12 months or so, discovering that they weren't actually making any money. And, that's very sad. And when I said to them, why are you doing it this way? And they said, because, and I won't name names, but they said basically but I'm following so-and-so's model. And even that in itself is worrisome, that people are blindly following, that suggested model because that's what they see, and they perceive that YouTuber is actually, doing well and making loads of money. So I think, I'll do that too. But they didn't unfortunately, they didn't go in and do the research themselves to see whether that was actually going to work.
Yeah. And I suppose another thing that really annoys me, and that people in the live this morning would have found that as well, is buzzwords. I'm finding a lot of finding a lot of YouTubers are using buzzwords, which it starts replicating across the community, and Instagram posts and all these different things. And I kind of think to myself, well, what's the purpose of these buzzwords? Would it be a better scenario to actually get off your butt and start listing all these different things? Like words like viruses, or I'm taking one for the team, or what else is there, Granny? I can't think of the other ones.
Leveling up.
Leveling up was one of those. So all these different ones, and I don't have anything against the language, I suppose. I can't come across that. It's just, I think it's almost like an indoctrinated, like, cult system that people are using these languages. Because they've heard their YouTuber or someone in a Facebook group or someone that they respect. And this is not a dig at anyone in particular. Like I said, that if this is what helps you, and obviously you work towards your accountability and all those different things, good. As long as it's working. But what I find is people use these buzzwords, or use these this kind of language in stories,
the phrasing.
and phrasing, all these different things, and kind of think to yourself, well,
but do they actually understand what it means? That's probably more of the thing. You can say, "Oh, I'm leveling up." Okay, what does leveling up mean? Like, when you say, "Well, what are you doing?" I'm leveling up. How are you doing that? Like, do you actually know what you're doing what is leveling up to you? Is that growing your business? And how is it growing your business? Does that mean you're aiming for a higher average sale price, or does that mean you just want to sell more items? What does that mean?
Yeah, because I suppose that I implore people, instead of using language like that, use the octopus's language and say, I'm doing some goal setting. I've got a pen and paper. I'm going to write down 10 goals that I want to see for my business in the next 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. Like, don't go. I don't want to see any Instagram stories where they go, hey, I'm doing what the octopus said and do this, and don't do anything. How about you put on Instagram stories your goals for 3 months, 6 months, 12 months? And like Reddy said, it might be a case of, your current ASP is, $13.44, and you want to get to $50. So, put that down, ASP from $13.44 to $50 in the next 3 months. So then, obviously, how are you going to achieve that? Well, obviously, you can't start sourcing, $9 DVDs and selling them plus $2 postage. You're going to have to start sourcing bigger things. So these are tangible goals, like, instead of using this language like I'm leveling up, or I'm taking one for the team, or I've got a virus in my store, all these different things that have been thrown around.
What is it? I'm doing my punishment.
Yeah, it's irrelevant. Like,
swallowing my medicine.
Yeah, stuff like that. It's quite infuriating, to say the least. Like I said, it's good for views, and it's good for for catchphrases, which obviously bring people back to watching week after week. And like I said, this is not anyone particular that we're targeting. It's just the case that we're finding it more and more, especially in the Instagram, like this. the Octopus follows 88 people on Instagram, right? And I dare say 40 of those people in the last week, I've seen stories from saying that they're revising their store and taking their medicine and all these different buzzwords. But then 2 weeks later, that there's no substantial change, or there's nothing that really has been actionable. Like I said, I don't want to see stories or people with makeup on, fluttering their eyes in front of the camera, telling them how they're going to take medicine, all these different things. Get a notepad and pen, write down your goals, and put it on a piece of paper. Put it on stories, and I'll like it. I'll start following you. I'll get rid of Grumpy Granny, and I'll follow you instead.
Do you know what, though? Also, I have to say, like, some of the terminology like that, when it's, say, taking your medicine or doing your punishment and those sort of things, are quite negative. Whereas a goal-setting thing is a quite positive thing. And I think that is also something to consider, because having that positive mindset is good to help get you motivated to do those things, isn't it?
Yeah.
As opposed to, well, you having to, be
there's
negative.
There's nothing wrong with a bit of negativity. Yeah, I wouldn't be the disgruntled octopus with a bit of negativity in your life. But you're right. Like there's nothing worse. Sorry, there's nothing. There's nothing wrong. What I meant to say, I'll retract what I said. There's nothing wrong with having a bit of self-reflection, and if that's a negative thing, you need to kick up the butt to say, hey, look, maybe I haven't been doing my listings, or maybe I haven't done this, but how am I going to address that?
Yeah.
Like my first point of call is I'm going to get a notepad and pen. It doesn't need to be a pretty document. It doesn't need to be, calligraphy and gold pen or on the computer typed up. Get a bloody pen, get a bit of paper, write it down. 3 months,
on the back
6
of an
months,
envelope, if that's the only bit of paper you've got.
That's right. Or you can write on the back of a tentacle if you want that way, but I really don't care. I would rather you see you on your Instagram stories. Well, you shouldn't be on Instagram in the first place if you need to take your medicine.
Yes.
But if you need to socialize, put on by all means tag Grumpy Granny and I, and put your goals down, because I think that's a lot stronger than doing like I said, putting a 30-second video that you've probably taken 16 different takes to make sure you're at the perfect angle and perfect lighting. Because I don't care. Like I skip through those, and I dare say a lot of people that probably view your Instagram stories are doing the same, because the same terminology comes across all the stages, right? Like I would rather see action, and by all means, you're more than happy to flick me your goal setting list through Instagram, and I'll go, yep, well, how are you going to do that? So it's a form of accountability. That I'm not saying that these people that are on YouTube are just saying it for views, or saying it for fluff pieces and all these different things. But if you're going to emulate them, you need to do it properly. There's no use.
Yeah.
It's almost a flavor of the month thing, and it infuriates me to no end that we're coming up to the New Year's. I don't want to see, hey, for my New Year's resolution, do it now.
My New Year's resolution. Yeah, exactly. Start now. And isn't that the thing, though, Octo, even if they were going to use some of that terminology, like, so we'll use the leveling up phrase, because that did come up this morning in our live stream. So, if someone said they were leveling up, it would be far more acceptable if that was followed by, I'm going to level up by blah, 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 and put the steps down that you're going to do to achieve that, which is basically setting your goals.
Yeah, well, all right, I'll put it to you this way, right? So, obviously, if you want to level up, you're all RPG nerds and you play video games and you play Oblivion or Skyrim or whatever games you do where you're playing, your level up system, right?
Pokemon Go.
Oh, that's right. Pokemon Go, you can level up. I don't care. If you have a comprehension of how video games work and how the leveling system works, I want you to do this. Write a goals, make it 3, 6 months, 12 months. Have a point-based system assigned to each goal. So maybe, if you get your ASP from $13.44 to $50, have 20 points associated to that task. So once you got your ASP to $50, you can tick that off and you got 20 experience points. Keep doing that. Make it like a game, because if you quite enjoy games and all these different things, you might be able to trick your brain into completing your task because you get that endorphin hit from leveling up. Then you can bloody say leveling up as much as you want to the cows come home. I won't contest you. So like I said, just assign a point-based system to it and have a bar that you constantly keep shading in as you meet milestones. Then put on Instagram. Say, hey, look, today I leveled up twice. I got to $50 ASP, and I've also listed 16 items or 15 items, 20 items a day for a week. Don't make it 20 items a day, then you've leveled up 20 points and you never list 20 items ever again. Have something like have like a stretch goal, that 10 listings for 10 days gives you 10 points or something like this. So have some sort of system where you're getting an endorphin hit from actually achieving goals, opposed to getting on Instagram stories or Facebook or all these different platforms and telling everyone how you've got these plans of grandeur and not actually following through with them.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, isn't it? Because I wonder overall, it would be interesting to know the stats, wouldn't it, of how many times people, go into an accountability post or go into an accountability group and say they're going to do 1, 2, 3 to get to where they want to go, but then how many of them actually return and say that they've done it?
Well, we have that in our accountability live, right? So we and this is not having a go at anyone, because I know it comes across that I'm targeting everyone and everything. Is that we had some people previously come in and they tell us what they want to do, then we never hear from them again. And that's like, we would never pass judgment as much as we muck around and all these different things, because we know how hard it is to come onto YouTube in the first place, right? So if you're more than willing to come on and tell us what you want to do, and if you disappear for 6 months and you come back 12 months later and say, hey, look, I know I said that I was going to do this, but I never got around to it. That's some sort of accountability, because you have that self-reflection to say, you don't come on there and say, look, I screwed up, I'm taking my medicine, I'm going to level up, all these different things, because that means nothing to me. Like, I'd probably kick you off the stream and give you a headbutt in the green room. But what you need to do is basically, like I said, write a goal list. More than happy for you to reach out to me. So I'm going to cost you a cent. I can say, well, look, you don't have to share your eBay store with me. You don't have to do all these different things unless you want to. I don't care. Like, don't misconstrue this. I'm not spending hours and hours and hours, fixing you as a person.
Yes.
I will come to. I'll give you 5 minutes of my time here and there. More than happy to to reach out for accountability and all these different things offline on Instagram if you want to do that. But like I said, that you need to write a goal-setting list, and I think that's the best way. And you find a lot of successful resellers. 2 Aussie thrifters. Brad normally writes a goal for every year, but don't wait till January, because I will literally come down and find you and look out, look out. But like
we won't be kidnapping you to appear on the podcast. You'll be kidnapping you to put you in the dungeon.
Well,
Look,
exactly right.
With that being said, now I'll use the example of Anthony in our live stream, who came in last week and said his goal was to get rid of his death pile. And he contacted me the next day on Instagram messages and said to me that he had actually already, at that stage, after 1 day, had gotten rid of 1 full garbage bag of stuff. And he was really chuffed with himself that he'd actually achieved that. And I said, well, that's fantastic. That's good on you. And then he has turned up again today. And what has he done? He's actually achieved his goal, and he's gotten rid of all his death pile. And that is just
an amazing thing. His pile of dead bodies. Maybe I misread that.
It was his death pile of stuff. And it's a weight lifted off his shoulders. He feels so much better. And he had some help at home from family members and a bit of encouragement from moi and you. And he's achieved his goal. It's great that he could come back and actually say, well, I've done that.
And that's not a reflection on us, right? As much as Granny probably takes credit for all of that, it's not. It's like, we want to help people, right? But people want to help themselves as well. We can scream until the cows come home, or the sea cows, as we said last week. But the thing is that there's got to be some sort of motivation internally, that people need to get off their butt and do it themselves. Because like Granny said, is that it's good that they're coming back. That's fantastic for Anthony. Getting through to all those different things, because reselling is only a step away from hoarding.
And look, the thing with it is too, Octo, look, reselling can be very lonely for some people. Like, either they're like myself and they live on their own, or a lot of people, their families don't give a rat's about their reselling business. They just think, they're selling stuff on eBay. They don't understand it. And so sometimes it's good for them to have somewhere to go and say, well, hey, I did this. And have someone actually react that understands. Well, that's great. That's a good thing.
Exactly right. And that's right. I'm not taking away from that, but it's a case that that I want people to be self-motivated, so they're not relying on, hey, I'm going to jump on Grumpy Granny's live Friday night and tell her where I've done all these different things. And it's like, well, you should be doing that for your business anyway. You shouldn't need that external pressure or that external force. It's good that you're doing that. You obviously, but you need to graduate past that. And that's a buzzword to stand like, as much as I'm a bit of a hypocrite in that respect. But you you need to get past that point where you're seeking. What would the word be, Granny? Like
Well,
seeking.
I know what you're saying, but I do think. I mean, I just think it's sometimes it's just nice
Seeking
to share.
validation.
Yeah.
But that's right. Like
If
I
you're
said,
doing it to
I'm not,
share, as opposed to if you're doing it for validation, is a different thing to if you're just wanting to share it with someone that understands. I think.
Yeah, and that's like I said, I have no problem with that. And like I said, that anyone at any stage is more than welcome to reach out to me, Instagram, send me a message, and like off thing. But where I draw the line off is it's going to probably sound a bit uncouth, but circle jerks. I'm not going to tell them you did a fantastic job just for the sake, for you to get an endorphin hit. If you legitimately, if you said to me, hey, look, I'm having a real problem with my death pile. I've got a lot of low end stock and I can't clear it. My family's getting really angry at me for all these different things. Then you come back a week later and say, look, I took the first step and I cleared a bag and threw it out. That's fantastic. That is literally a good job. But if you're coming back on a weekly basis just for that endorphin hit, saying, hey, I threw out another bag and I threw out another bag and I threw out another bag, where you should have got thrust, you threw it first bag, then you punched it 8 bags, and then we don't hear from you again. It might come up in passing, but you're not doing it for that validation or that constant endorphin hit. You need to do it for your business, and that we're happy to be here for for your accountability and all these different things and provide these things. But we're trying to provide stepping stones, right? So we're providing some sort of, hey, let's get you into a routine, let's get you into a habit where you can actually start performing these tasks on a weekly basis. And like Rennie said, we're more than happy, because we get lonely ourselves, It's really being the world's dictator.
Why do you think I talk to an octopus? Because I'm lonely.
Right.
Like otherwise,
Right.
because who would want to be talking to a disgruntled octopus?
Well, that's right. Well, speak for yourself, but it's really hard. Like, being the world's only reselling octopus, it's quite lonely from that perspective. But like I said, that it's good from that, as long as you're seeking companionship for the right reasons. I suppose that you're not falling into that trap that you're almost into the point with like one-upmanship where that you only exist in that group where you're just showing off your goals and the milestones you're kicking, for self-validation, I suppose, which would make me further annoy me. But like I said, if you need that first step, you need that validation to say, hey, look, Granny, you cleared out that bookshelf behind you. That's fantastic. It looks a lot cleaner there, and it's not going to be a death trap, and you got a lot more room to move, or you got a lot more stock and all these different things. That's fantastic. But you just need to do it for the right reasons, I suppose.
So, Octo, talking of which, seeing as you mentioned bookshelves, do you like to see boxes of jeans behind me more than you like to see my bookshelves?
Yeah, I don't like books.
So I gathered this morning.
Yes. So, and this is going to cut me a lot of flack, is that to me, books, I don't know, I just don't find them interesting. I copped a lot of flack in the live this morning about it, but I just don't know why people gravitate towards books and DVDs. It's that, to me, there's a lot of chaff in the wheat kind of thing. There's a lot of crap that you need to get through to get to the good stuff. But and like what we were saying last week is that you probably want to find a niche that's obscure because
you do.
Yeah.
Well, I said that in the live stream this morning. Like with books, I don't think you can just become a general bookseller these days because there's too many big sellers that are happy to do a volume-based business and sell, books for a 50-cent profit, $1 profit, and just sell mega loads of books. I think if you're going to be successful in the book area these days, you need to be able to have a niche within books and be an expert at that niche and get the right books and be able to sell them, just like Grumpy Granny does.
Yeah, so I suppose the octopus stance. I didn't really amplify what I was talking about this morning because I wanted something to hold over to the podcast because I didn't want to repeat the same information. Is that, to be brutally honest, I think books are a dying product, right? So a lot of people that primarily use books are probably shuffling off the model coil. You got ebook readers, you got internet, you got all these different things, right? You got iPads that double as books. So the people that are actually investing in books to actually hold the book will become less and less and less over time. So it's going to get to the point where the book sellers can't sustain themselves, like Granny's saying. You do really need to niche down. And it's going to get to the point where these big book conglomerate, big book sellers are going to have to move to something else. They're going to have to move to. You probably found that they'll move to DVDs or something like this because that yes, books, they can get books on the dollar, cents on the dollar, but there's not enough people to want books. That your niche is going to become very finite, I think.
Yeah, I think still books will be around. I think there's something to be said. I mean, look, this is the thing, because people that love books, and I do know my granddaughter, who's 8, loves books. And she'll grow up continuing to love books because she's just one of those people. And so there is something special about holding a book in your hand and reading it versus reading something on a tablet or a computer. So I think even though the amount of people that do that, because, back in the day, people didn't have digital versions of stuff, so they had to hold the book, whether you liked books or not. That was the only way to get the information. Now there's alternate ways of getting information. So, yes, it may narrow it, but I don't think books will disappear. I just think it'll change.
Do you think books will move to more of a collector's market, where people will display their books like retro video games, for example?
There are. Yeah, and there are a lot of young people who are doing that already. They're starting particular collections, and their collections may not necessarily be that they're going to collect all the first edition hardcover books of Stephen King, for example. People are starting to collect things like the vintage pen paperbacks, so they're cheaper collections, I guess, that people are actually able to achieve. And so those people will probably continue, and as they move through that process, they'll start to collect more valuable books. So yes, in a sense, there'll be a lot more collectors out there, I think.
And do you think that it will get to the point where VHS like grading will move to the book market, where you'll have books being graded if already there?
No, I don't think so, because, and look, it would be pointless. I mean, there are books that do get locked away in glass cabinets because they are so fragile and so old and maybe so special for some reason, and that's the only way to keep them, in condition and not have anyone touch them. But in general, people that collect books do still want to look at them, and whether that's because they just want to look at the spines on the shelf, or they actually want to lift it. And nothing better than someone comes to your house and you've got a book collection and you can pull one down off the shelf and show someone. So from that aspect, people won't want to do that. It's not like a card that you can, or even like a VHS, because I mean, a VHS looks the same inside, whatever it is. So you can see all around it, whereas a book you can't.
Yeah, I suppose that's a valid point. I suppose that, I'd be quite curious to see how the book market goes over the next 10 years. But I do think that, as morbid as it sounds, as the older generation, pass away and move on, it would be less taken up. Because like you said, when you're a child, there was no, or even when I was, a baby octopus, there was no digital, we had maybe a Nintendo or an Atari or something along the lines of that. But that was the extent of your I suppose your electronics per se. But now that you've got a phone that's got books on it, you've got an iPad that's got books on it, you've got computers and even gaming consoles you can read books on, all these different platforms that you can indulge in books. But I do think that it will become harder and harder for booksellers over the coming 10 years, to tell you the truth. And personally, that if I was in the book category, I would be looking for alternative niches to possibly branch into. And like I said that previously, is that I see books, DVDs, video games as the stepping stone into reselling. That by all means come into it. Learn how to learn.
Quite
how
agree.
It works,
yeah, books are readily available, and it's an easy way to learn how to resell. I have to say that, and they're generally expensive, so that without outlaying a heap of money, you can actually learn how to resell. But I think if you want to be successful at selling books and make good money at selling books, you do have to become an expert in a niche.
Yeah, and I think that like we've spoken about before, right? Like the more obscure the niche, the better, right? Like we're talking about like a cult summoning Bigfoot or something like that would probably go quite well. Or the one that they discussed in the live this morning. But a bit like that, I just noticed that Jazz has had a go at me for annoying Adelaideans this morning.
Well, it was probably warranted too, I might say.
I know. I don't apologise to the Adelaide people.
Don't hold that against Grumpy Granny, because I don't live in I don't live where Octo lives, and I love Adelaide. I think it's a lovely city.
No, I don't. It's boring as hell. but yeah, no, and I think really, like I said, that you want to use these gateways as learning how the platform works, all these different things, then graduating past that. You know, it might be a case of, yeah, and people have spoken about it in other podcasts where we find is that they use eBay as a platform to move on to other things. Is that creating their own website, creating their own product line, creating their own niche in the market where they're going, hey, look, I sell book, replacement book covers or something like this for vintage books. The dust jackets, I can't pronounce the bloody things. Where yes, it might be a replica, but it looks really good on a shelf. Or it protects that book for that. I don't know if there is a market
in that. Yeah.
But these are the things that you could potentially be looking at. If, as a bookseller, you go, hey, look, what really irks me that I can't get or I can't find. All right, so. I sell a lot of vintage books, and it'll be like I might be able to squeeze a couple of extra dollars, or maybe extra $20 or $30, $40 if I had a replica, book jacket, a dust jacket for it, kind of thing, and all these different things. And so you could potentially go into a market where, and I don't know the legalities of this, so please don't string me up for this.
I don't know myself, other than that you can buy them. So for certain,
it might be a case of like finding a gap in the market that you can branch off of that, or like Tech and Sports has done. He's used the money he's got from eBay to create other businesses which are completely isolated from reselling per se. He's doing gardening work and landscaping work and all these different things. So it might even be a case of learning, using the eBay platform, learn how to business, then go do something else. Reinvest that money into something else, and go from that way. Because especially with like Granny was saying at the start of the episode, is that her sales are very high and very low at the moment. Is that if you need stable income, you might need to reinvest some of those funds into something else that mightn't be eBay. So you need to look at all these different areas.
And I think the one thing with books, for me personally, I would not want to be just a bookseller. I think that you need to have an alternate, even if you are going to stick to reselling on eBay, I think you need to have an additional category or categories that you sell in to go alongside the books. That's my personal view. I don't think the books are, because a lot of, especially I sell a lot of vintage and antique books, which, you've got to find the right buyer for. So some of them I sell within 24 hours of listing them. Others may sit there for 6 months. I can't wait for 6 months for all of my things to sell. So I need something else that will keep, churning over in the meantime.
And like I said, we're only providing suggestions and hints. So we're not trying to dictate to you how to run your business and all these different things.
As I said, that's just my opinion.
These are the things that you need to be mindful of, right? Like you need to really, like we said last week, you need to take ownership of your business. Don't blindly follow people just because that this person, says, hey, look, I've made $100,000 this year. Like, let's be brutally honest, $100,000 is not much. That's revenue. So out of that $100,000, you may have only made $18,000 in profit after all of your expenses. So, are you going to blindly follow someone that's made $18,000 in profit? That's lower than minimum wage.
That's right. There's a big difference between the revenue that you make off eBay and the actual profit that you make.
So, that's something you just be very mindful of, and like I said, that, under no circumstances do I believe or do I condone that you engage in these one-on-one mentoring systems or platforms and all these different things, or do courses, and don't take other YouTubers' words for it. Saying, hey, look, I've done this thing, or even reviews under the platform. If people are like providing a course and they've got all these 5-star reviews, reviews can be easily bought, or all these different things that. You really need to do your due diligence, and don't fall into the trap thinking, well, look, I really need to make a lot of money because I've got nothing coming in. I'll just pay this $100 to do this course or this one-on-one mentoring for an hour, and everything's going to be roses. That's not the way it works. eBay takes a lot of time, and like other people have said, look at your products you're selling, look at the sell-through rate, look at therapy, look at all the resources that you've got available to you. And look at YouTube, look at. Watch Grumpy Granny. She's got fantastic tutorial videos on how to do different elements on eBay. Like, as much as I keep trying to whip her to do more tutorial videos, she'll have them coming out.
There are some more. There's one coming. half
yeah,
done. My issue at the moment is, as I did say to someone that's waiting for one of my videos, that unfortunately, because I can't sit for very long, for long periods, because I've just had back surgery, the editing's taking a bit longer than normal because I can't just sit there and edit it all. I've got to do a bit and then get up, and then it's hard to get back into it. So yeah.
But the point is that Grumpy Granny doesn't provide, doesn't charge for that service, right? Like, she's providing it out of intrinsic reasons, but either that she likes, the sound of her own voice, or she likes watching the video and over again. But like I said, that you can find
I'm a sharer.
Oh, well, that's right. Yeah, that's why it's those sick people in the world. But but it's a case that like really looking into all the finite details. Like I said, that if it's a YouTuber providing a course or a mentoring system, look at the different avenues. Like, for example, do they sell on eBay? Do they sell on whatnot? Are they saying, hey, look, I'll provide you an hour for eBay tutorial, and they don't even sell on eBay? Or that they mightn't have access to eBay, or they might have all these different things that all these red flags should be going off in your mind, thinking, well, why am I paying this person this amount of money to do this coaching or to do this course or to do these different things if it doesn't align with my model? Like by all means reach out to them and say, hey, look, I'm looking at doing your $100 1 an hour session. Do you mind providing me some financials for the last financial year? How much did you make? How much was that profit? All these different things. And if they were generally providing a service which is worth money, they'll say, yeah, sure. Last year I made $400,000 out of that. Was $128,000 profit. The expenses for post was this, and this. And, provide all that transparent data, and you probably would go, all right, they know what they're talking about. And like we said last week, talk's cheap. Don't take it, believe everything you take for a grain of salt. But they're providing some sort of rebuttal, I suppose, that that you could probably pursue later. That's coming out that data wasn't correct. Because
and if you want, if you're the sort of person that you've got your store on eBay and you've been there for a while and you're not happy with its performance and you want it reviewed, there are plenty of people that would be willing to have a look at it and give you their thoughts on it, for free. Just as a gesture, you just have to reach out and ask. Send me a message on Instagram. You might be lucky, Octo might even have a look at it for you. But there are people that you can reach out to. Even just any other reseller that or that you interact with on Instagram or Facebook. Contact one of those and ask them, look, I'm struggling a little bit. I'm not sure what my next step is. Can you just have a look and see whether you think am my prices too high? And maybe that's simple. And just ask the question of someone to have a look at it.
Yeah, and that's right. And that's
you don't need to pay money for it.
Well, that's right. And don't follow. And another thing that I've been noticing lately as well is that YouTubers are running percentage sales off. I'm running 50% off my stock, or I'm running 100% off my stock, or whatever. Whatever it is. But then all of a sudden say, oh, I did Octo's 50% sale for the 3 weeks and made $200 in profit. There's no use running a 50% off sale if it's going to be less than what your actual buy cost is. But you really need to be very mindful of what's going on, and just don't follow the trend, as what we were saying earlier, is just don't jump on the bandwagon for the sake of bandwagon jumping.
Yeah. Look, a little while ago, it was probably a month or so ago, I was watching one American YouTuber that did say, I'm taking down like 3/4 of my store. I'm just ending the listings. And, it really worried me. And look, that's what they needed to do for their business. And that's good. And they've since explained why they were doing that for their business. But I was really worried at the time because I thought this is going to start a trend, which it has to a certain extent. That, people weren't just revising their listings. They were just literally ending thousands of listings in their stores all at once.
Yeah.
And that can be crippling to your actual figures.
Yeah, and I suppose for transparency's sake, that when I finished all my listings up, it wasn't on the back of a YouTuber. I was clearing stock out because, like I was going back to earlier, what I was saying is that I wanted to raise my ASP from $15, $20, whatever it was, because it was primarily a lot of heavily reduced PS2 games and PS3 games, all those different things. That it's something more reasonable around the $50 or $60 mark. But
And
you're right.
Yeah, and I was the same. I mean, I inadvertently deleted a lot more than I thought over that time, which hammered my store. But I had a crunch date time wise because I had to get that certain items ended if they hadn't sold, finished before my garage sale, so I could put them in the garage
Yeah.
sale. So,
Yeah.
and that was the reason I did that. But don't hear that someone's ending their store, 3/4 of their store, taking them down, and then go and do the same.
Yeah, and like I said, it comes. No, and we said last week as well, is that it's on a case by case basis, right? So you need to look at what. You almost need to make the decision in isolation of YouTube. Like watch
Yeah.
YouTube as an entertainment purpose platform. Watch it like no different to Netflix. It's not just. It's probably your Netflix. Walking Dead's probably more factual than bloody YouTube stuff. So that you need to look at it from a perspective of saying, hey, look, this is an entertainment purpose only. This person's running this experiment. Like, Sell Similar came from someone, from probably a YouTuber that did it. Then all of a sudden it's got, went like wildfire. And it's still going on about bloody, we even did an episode of Sell Similar still work. But these are the things that you don't want to get on the bandwagon of. Maybe, by all means, if you've got 1,000 items in your store, finish 20 of them and, do a little isolated test on it, which is not going to damage your store or all those different things. Do it, but do it on your own terms. Don't follow Granny, don't follow me, don't follow Jim Bob down in Adelaide that is probably going to pitchforks and that chase people in like Adelaide. But like I said, that be accountable to yourself. Like we were saying earlier, is that instead of getting on Instagram or Facebook and puffing your chest up and saying, "Hey, look, I'm using all these keywords. Look at me go." Put a photo of your goal setting. Like, I want to get to 1,500 listings, or I want to get down to 1,500 listings, or I want 100 quality listings, or something like that.
Yeah, because you know what, like the general business, right? A general shop, for example. So I'm going to choose a shop down the main street of my town where I live, right? So there is a shop down there that sells a lot of nicky-nacky giftware type stuff, right? So this person decided off their own bat that they were going to start this business, and they bought in their first lot of stock, and which was just a small amount, and they've grown, and they've actually got quite a nice little business going now. Now, she doesn't actually get on YouTube and watch YouTube videos to hear how everybody else is doing stuff, selling stuff in their gift shop, because there isn't that sort of content available for them. And so they have to learn by actually knowing their figures, doing their numbers, working out where to source their stock from, all those things, what the price points are, all those sorts of things. What her marketing strategies are great, because I quite often see the stuff as she's marketing it. She's doing really, really well, but because she's actually gone in and done the work herself and actually done the figures herself, and she knows her numbers. So that's the key. You've got to actually know your own business and know your numbers. You can't just follow the leader.
Like we're saying, this is not pointed at anyone directly, but you really need to be accountable to your own business, because, like I said last week, and surprising, I didn't cop any flack by it, but if you're constantly looking towards other people how to run your business, you're going to fail. And it's going to get to the point where you start failing, and then you start panicking, and you start reaching out to do these mentoring courses or these coaching courses and all these different things, throwing bad money after bad money to try and improve it, where you probably just need to press pause and reset and go from there. Like, by all means, put yourself on time away for 3 or 4 days, then go back through your store and revise and have a look. Like what I'm doing now. I'm in the process of, like I said last week, is going through, doing my item specifics, going through every single listing, changing the photos and all these different things, and revising the prices. I've got 2 tabs open. I just flick between the two, and more often than not, that by the time that the product has gone down in value, and mine's still incredibly high. So then, by bringing it down, it's become more competitive, and more often than it's sold. So these are the things you need to do. Like, instead of trying to find a get out of jail free card or a quick fix, all those different things, you need to probably need to do the work. Look at YouTube as an entertainment platform, and and do your bloody goals.
Yes, do your goals indeed. So we shall expect this coming week to see lots of people's goals up on their stories, and if they want to do a post or whatever, and we want to see them.
Yeah, and have quantifiable goals. Don't have basically, if you've got a large store that's full of junk, for example, like Anthony, I'm not saying he's full of junk, but it might be a case that you need to downsize from 2,000 listings to 1,500. And how are you going to do that? Don't do it all in one hit. Maybe it might be a case of cancelling 50 listings over a period of days or a period of weeks or something along to that. But like I was saying it before, is make it like a little video game if that's what. If that's what your brain needs, if that's what your brain needs to, to complete the task, have like a little bar graph at the top that you shade in with a certain thing, and then you can, spruik and throw your tentacles around all that you want, saying you've leveled up all these different things. But you need to do the hard work, and as much as unfortunately, the quick fixes and the one-on-one coaching courses aren't the route to that. But I think that's done for another week, Granny.
I think so. I think we've made our point. And I think I thought last week's podcast was a little serious, but this week's might have been a little bit more.
That's right.
Serious.
That's right.
But we say what we say because we care and because we don't want you to go down the rabbit hole and waste your money. And we don't do it because we're not doing it because we're wanting to bag out someone else. We're doing it because we just think that, a lot of the resellers that may gravitate towards that really will be wasting their money, and that's not right.
Yeah. So the way that the Octopus looks at it, we want to be as accountable to you as we expect you to be to us. And the way we're accountable is to telling you exactly what we think and what you need to avoid. Like, by all means, take it with a grain of salt. Don't listen to us. Do whatever you want. By all means, throw money after, coaching and mentoring and all those different things. I'd rather you waste that money on charity or, some system that will benefit yourself personally or someone else than, throw it to someone that doesn't need it and doesn't do all these different things. Because I can tell you right now that 1 hour session that you paid for won't nowhere near as much as you're expecting to get for it. So.
Oh, and I mean, we know only too well how long an hour goes by very quickly just with the podcast. Like, we can be talking, driveling a lot of garbage, and the hour can go past, can't it, Octo?
That's right.
An hour is nothing.
That's right. Realistically, that please, I implore you not to, if you're looking at doing it, do your due diligence. So, go through all the pros and all the cons and what you expect to get out of this, and what kind of money back guarantee does this person have? That you have your hour call and it's complete BS. Do they have a refund policy where you're not getting what you're promised? All these different things. So these are the different things you need to look at. And
is the item not as described?
Well, that's exactly right. So, you really need to do due diligence. Look at what their main source of income is. If it's eBay and they're like kicking goals like Tech and Sport and all these different things, by all means, you potentially want to look at, hitting him up for an hour of his time, and it probably would be worth it while in the long run.
I mean, you can. But the thing is, you can do that for free with tech. Not for free if you're a member of the group.
Well, that's right.
You can actually go on there and do that, and even once a month, you can still, a member of the $4.99 group, which is $9 Australian. But you can go on there and ask him. Just have your list of questions ready, and he will answer them. Bang, 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 bang.
That's exactly right. This person is, arguably the best eBay reseller in the world.
Yeah.
And if he's willing to do it for free, what does that say for other people?
Yeah.
And on that note, I think we'll leave it at that, Granny. So we'll catch you again next week, and hopefully in a lighter mood.
Well, yes, and with some more Halloween makeup.
That's right. Yeah, well, hopefully.
Let's see. We'll have to wait and see what you've got.
We'll have to see. Bye.